how it's affecting you, because this team, remember, they had trouble already before. They were combating huge understeer. Like mentioning earlier, Zenex Marda being 6 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds out of pace,
Mm-hmm.
and combating huge understeer. And right now they get the disconnection. I mean, that's just basically, and Turbo like, okay, it's morning, we are dead tired, and let's face it, we're racing in a class with 4 drivers running. You can get a podium if you finish the race, but you're really, really, really struggling to find that motivation at that point when they lead and the class win, barring any more technical difficulties, which, let's face it, we've seen in the P3 class. It's starting to go. I'm not saying that people should give up. I'm just saying that it's a really, really, you have to respect the drive that these drivers have, of keeping on, the motivation they have and the will to go on and to finish the race, even when they feel like, oh, there's no point, but you have to respect them. These are gladiators after all, and they sacrificed a lot of time, sweat, and tears to make this race. And
Yep.
blood, of course.
And
blood.
they don't want to throw away the last 16 hours of their life and their teammates' life and all of that kind of stuff, but it's got to be so frustrating when you're dealing with those kinds of issues. I've also noticed Michelo Mole in the Musto Racing number 33, fourth in class for LMP3, which is actually last at the moment, is now within 8 seconds, though, of Boris Vikolsky in the Blackhawk Racing LMP3 machine. So they have closed right up. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, I swear, that we were talking about the Musto Racing being behind several GTE cars, and here they are. They're actually closing in on a podium.
They are, and with the recent issues of Team RGPL, even though they are 2 laps ahead of Boris Vakolsky, I think we could at some point be looking at them battling not only for the P3 but also P2 in class, although not yet. That is way too early to say right now, but with how RGPL's race has seemingly gone down the sewers in the last hour, well, it's not an impossibility. So will be interesting to see whether Black Hawk Racing will be actually looking at a double podium in this race, potentially.
Yeah, that would be absolutely incredible for them. Really, and again, an incredible kind of recovery drive as well too. Because, I mean, one of the big talking points for sure was Musto Racing being so far back, and the thing was they weren't that far back as far as time is concerned to the next car up ahead. I think they were maybe a lap and a half down, something like that. But the Blackhawk Racing car was just so far behind the other 2 LMP3 cars, but. Things are looking very different now for the number 33 Musto Racing car. It's now less than 6 seconds behind Boris Vakolsky. Let's just take a quick look at the previous laps. Yeah, 5 seconds quicker last lap for the Musto Racing. Currently the fastest LMP3 car at the moment. Leshev recently went into the pits though, so that might change, but looking better and better for Musto.
It is. Michel Mole is absolutely on fire here. I mean, 349.0 at this point of the race. That's race clutch territory almost. That's fantastic. And the Black Hawk Racing obviously being very much under pressure right now. I wonder if they're also struggling a little bit with the tires as RGPL were.
Yeah, it's not an impossibility at all. I mean, we did see them try and make the tires go longer than they should have gone. Maybe Black Hawk are trying to do the same, trying to stretch it out.
Maybe, and in fairness, this is the time when you're trying it. The early morning hours, the track is actually at its coolest right now. So, well, the track is the same, the track temp, but the air temp rather is cooler, and you get less of the sun warming up the track. And during the night, you usually can maybe eke out one more stint out of those tires, as opposed to what you can do during the daytime after 2 or 3 hours in the racing. In the night you try to salvage tires, maybe get that extra stint out. So this would be the time when we find out which teams have been going for that strategy in the early morning hours, because this is roughly 3 hours after they have made the decision or rather committed to the decision.
That Musto racing car looking closer and closer. It's now less than 3.5 seconds to the Blackhawk racing car up ahead as he makes his way down the hill through the right-hander and into the chicane. But yeah, closing in at quite a rate of knots, and actually at a pretty good part of the circuit. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the overtake on the Mulsanne, as we just come onto the straight now. He can just about see Bukolski actually ahead of him. So that is definitely going to be spurring him on. I don't know enough about the cars actually to be able to say if he's actually picking up any sort of slipstream. If he is, it's only a whiff of a slipstream. It's
Not yet,
really,
no.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was gonna say he's still pretty far back, but I mean he can see his target right ahead.
You can see him and you can soon feel it too. I mean, he's a little bit over 2 seconds away. Now coming just in over 2 seconds. Usually you get maybe, you know, a minuscule effect at this rate. Like with just the last bit of the air being punched through and reforming ahead of your own car. What you can get already at this distance though is the dirty air through the Porsche curves and the fast corners in general. So he really wants to be ahead of Boris Vakolski before the Porsche curves, because when a car has handling problems, that's usually where you lose most of the time. No, really, Ostian, are you kidding me? You're losing most of the time with the handling problems in a series of fast corners, but yes, that is true. So he wants to ideally be ahead of him, maybe exiting Arnage at the latest, or going into Arnage. No, you don't overtake there. So it's either gonna happen going into Indianapolis, or it's going to happen on the straight between Arnage and the Porsche curves, and he's catching him at such a rate of knots that I'm saying it's gonna happen on this lap after Arnage before Porsche curves on the inside.
Yeah, he's definitely closing the gap. It's down to just a second now. I think Indianapolis might be a little bit optimistic considering he's so far back, but yeah, maybe if you can get a good run out of Arnage, then Porsche curves could be an option. Now, of course, in the LMP3s, there are no engine modes, so it's not like he's just magically turned the engine up. He's got the pure pace at the moment.
Very good point, actually. I had completely forgotten that, because I knew I of course knew they didn't have the traction control, but I completely forgot that they didn't have the engine mode. So, yeah, it's all down to the right foot and deciding that. But it does not look like he's going to be close enough to make the overtake before the Porsche curve. So he's going to have to sit back. I wonder if maybe he just kind of settled down. You know, he knew he wasn't going to be able to make that overtake prior to Radek Indica coming up behind them as well, and that's in an LMP2 car, so that could have a role to play potentially. He's gonna try. Oh, he's trying very hard to get past.
No. Good.
Oh no. Yeah, this is looking. There are a lot of cars here, and I believe that's also Mitchell Smith, if I'm not mistaken. In the background there, also in an LMP2 car. So we've got two LMP2 cars trying to overtake two LMP3 cars that are currently racing for position.
Yes, and it's gonna be very interesting to see. Oh, here we go. Radek goes here. Good choice. Can he get by them both? Yes, he can. They give space nice and smooth. And Mitchell Smith also getting past at this point of one of the P3 cars, Michel Molle, and now getting past also of Boris Vakolski, and let's see if Michel uses that. No, he's not close enough, so he can't use the traffic to his advantage in this battle, so he'll have to wait until after Turtle Rouge. But unless, like as I said earlier, it may have taken him longer than last lap before Porsche curves, but here he's doing it definitely. He had to lift a little bit Michel Molle, but he's doing it here, down to the inside,
getting
right
already
next to Boris, and
wow.
Well, that's it, and that's an overtake done.
Wow, he made that look easy.
Well, it was. Let's be honest.
Oh, they're going to go 3
Oh, here comes
wide.
Kish. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was not expecting that. Kish is not sitting around. He wants to get through as quickly as possible. Boris Vakolski as well, still right on the back of Michele. And no, he's not going to try and retake that position. But, oh, that was quite an exciting lap.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll
very
just
exciting lap.
drawing our attention to Kish for a second. He's actually got the gap down to the leader to 36 seconds, and his last lap was a 3:27.145. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, no wonder he didn't want to blend out the throttle there, and he just went 3 wide straight past. He's not losing any time.
He's on it right now, and he's also catching up to both Mitchell Smith as well as Radek Indica, who are, remember, in his class, and their last laps were, I could check that, Radek Indica 3:37.3, so 10 seconds slower than Kish. And then there's also Mitchell Smith with 3:36, so they're almost 10 seconds slower than him. And let's see if Mr. Kish can keep himself consistent, keep himself out of trouble here, or whether he'll be tempted at least to get past these guys quite quickly. Let's face it, when you get into this mentality, when you get the laps in, lap times pouring, you're on a mission. You're